All right, today we're going to look at two-step equations. So sometimes there are two numbers of values that are hanging out with the variable or letter. So if I look at my first example here down at the bottom, here's the side with my variable. And if you notice, again, I've got two numbers that are hanging out with that letter B. This means that we have to do two steps to get B by itself. So there is an order to how we do this, and we're going to use inverse operations just like we did with one-step equations. So first, we're going to remove any addition or subtraction we see that is with my variable. My second step is going to be removing multiplication and division. So we're going to work in this order to solve our two-step equations. So again, looking at this first example here, the first step I would do, here is my plus 5. Here is my addition or subtraction. This is my first step. And in this case, it happens to be addition. So I would have a plus 5. The second step I would do is to remove multiplication or division that is hanging out with my letter. So again, here's my second number that is in the equation on the side of the variable, and it is actually being multiplied with B. So again, if I was going to work this problem out, the first thing I would do is subtract 5 from both sides, and then I would take a look at undoing the multiplication by division. All right, let's take a look at example 2. Okay, so again, I'm looking on the side with my variable. It's right here. And I want to, first step, look for any adding or subtracting. We again have another example of addition. So this problem has a plus 11. So my first step would be to subtract 11. The second thing I see in here is 7. And 7 is being multiplied with my x, so that falls along with my second step. I would undo that multiplying of 7 by dividing on both sides. All right, so last example here to look at. Here's my problem. We know it's an equation because I see that equal sign. Here's the side of the variable where I'm focusing my attention. And again, going through my steps, I need to look for addition and subtraction first to move. I see a subtraction of 12 in here, so I would add 12 to both sides. Then the second step I would do is to get rid of. Now I know it looks like a fraction, guys, but remember, it is simply the operation of division because we no longer see that old school division sign. So my second step would be to undo my division. Now, if you kind of even just look at those red boxes, I basically have talked about removing the yellow and the green numbers. And if you look, only the variable is by itself in that red box because that is our ultimate goal. When we undo and we use inverse operations to move those numbers away, we're going to end up with just our variable, which is exactly what we're trying to do. Discover what that mystery number is. All right, so let's take a look at some examples where we're going to solve. So if you want to open up your packet, we can take a look at page, I believe it is page 16, are some practice examples. So if you notice, I just went ahead and I copied and pasted my two steps. First, we're going to remove addition, subtraction, then we're going to multiply, undo multiplying and dividing. So if we start at this very top one, and I want you to write these down in your practice packet, just so again, you can practice writing them down, organizing your equation solving, and feel more confident in your steps. So looking at this first one, here is the side with my variable. The first step I'm going to do is get rid of my positive 3. So my first step is moving addition. So I would subtract 3 from both sides. And my 5x is untouched. It's ready just to be brought down. 8 minus 3 is 5. From here, this 5 is showing multiplication with my x. So second step of my problem is I have to do it again, but I'm using my inverse. Opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. 5 divided by 5, those are inverses, those cancel. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now again, you may think that those cancel as well. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so truthfully 5 divided by 5 over here is also 1, but we want the variable by itself, and 1x is the same as x, so we often just cross it out. All right, moving on to the second one here. Again, this is the side with my variable. So my first step says I have to undo undo addition and subtraction. So here is my addition. We're going to undo that by subtraction, because again, I use the opposites. So I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. Cancels. We have a divided by 2 equals -1 minus 2 more gives us a -3. You guys, by all means, use the calculator to support your computation. I'm just doing it kind of in my head to save us some time. From here, you should see here's the other number hanging out with my variable, and it is a division relationship. So to get rid of it, I would multiply by 2 on both sides. Again, opposites cancel, so you saw me cross those out. -3 times 2 is -6. So A equals -6. Our mystery number, -6. All right, take a look at this next one, a little bit different in setup. So let's talk about it. Here's the side with my variable, okay? If I look at my numbers, again, I'm looking to remove addition and subtraction first. I've got two numbers, -6 and -2m. Now you probably look at this sign right here as my subtraction. However, that is attached to my 2, which is buddied up next to my m, which is not really subtraction. This one is actually my subtraction of 6. What they did is they just took those terms and they changed places. We're used to having the variable term first and then another number. So this one is just the opposite. So take a minute, I'm going to highlight both. This is actually a -6 and a -2 times m. All right, so undoing that first step, the -6, we've established this is the first part we need to undo. So we're going to add 6 to both sides. Cancels. Now don't lose that negative sign in there because it now acts more of a negative because I don't have a number out front of it that makes you think subtraction. It's a -2m, so we're going to bring down that sign with the 2 and the m. On the other side, 10 and 6 makes 16. Then from there, we're looking to undo the operation between -2 and m, which again, they're buddied up right next to each other. So that is the operation of multiplication. So I'm going to divide on both sides, and I'm taking the negative with it. I'm dividing by -2, and I get m equals -8. So that was a little bit trickier. Again, just the order of our terms was a little bit different. Okay, let's take a look at the next one here. We have x divided by 5 plus 7 equals 11. So first, sticking with the side of the variable to kind of focus you in there, we're looking over here. I want to undo the subtraction and addition first. So here is our addition of 7. So to undo it, I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides. And I have x divided by 5. Notice I'm just bringing this on down so that I can work with it in my next step. So x divided by 5 equals 11 minus 7 is 4. Here's my second relationship I have. Now again, guys, remember it's green. So it should either be multiplication or division. In this case, it is a division by 5. So to undo it, I multiply. Oh, I got orange there. So we get x equals 4 times 5 is 20. And again, your inverses always cancel. So you're free to write them and cross them out. All right, bottom 2. So the one on the bottom left here, again, kind of a different setup. If I'm looking at, okay, where do I need to look first? I'm looking at the side with my variable. This is an example where like last name comes before first name, so I'd say McElhone Heather. Instead of our traditional variable on the left, this time our variable's on the right. But the same process, I just kind of boxed it out, so I kind of am just looking at the left-hand side. Now, when I'm going to remove my addition and subtraction, where is my number that is being added or subtracted, and where is my number that is multiplying and dividing? I got two numbers. You might be more inclined to say +3. However, look at that 3. It is buddied right up against the r. So that is the operation of multiplying. So it's not +3. Our number that is actually being added on, it's kind of backwards. It's out front here. And its sign is positive because it doesn't have a sign in front of it. If it was negative, we'd see it. So our first step is we're going to actually subtract 7 from both sides. So this one kind of can be tricky. Again, the setup is slightly different. So be careful when you are solving. So -5 minus 7 more gives us -12. Our 3r, positive 3r, right? I'm going to bring on down. And again, I can drop the positive plus sign because my value is positive. And when it's all by itself, I really don't need that plus sign. Then from there, our second step is to undo multiplying and dividing, and you see multiplying right here, 3 times r, like I mentioned before. So to get rid of it, we're going to divide. So we divide and cancel, divide on the other side, and we get r equals negative 12 divided by 3 is our answer of negative 4. So a little bit trickier. The very last one is a little bit more traditional in how it is written. Going back to like where do we look? Our variable, and it's first in line in our expression there. So that's kind of the most common way that we like to see it. Here is our subtraction of 6. It's a little more straightforward. So our opposite operation means I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And I have n divided by 3 equals negative 4 plus 6 is 2. And then our second operation there, if we look at the relationship between n and 3, it is the operation of division. So we're going to undo our division by multiplying. So again, these cancel. We have n equals 2 times 3 is 6. So hopefully you found this review helpful. Again, the big picture is that you've got two numbers hanging out with your variable in two-step equations, which means we have to use inverses twice. So we remove addition and subtraction first, and then we look to undo multiplication and division. So for today's task, I'd like for you to, if you go to your Canvas page, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up for you so you can see. It's being very slow. Let's try that again. It's not liking me. Here we go. All right, so whether your first period or your fourth period, if you go to your home page and you click on Thursday, it is 3-7 two-step equations, integers. Again, if you're not doing it on the week that we are looking at this lesson, you would need to go into the assignment tab and look for the same exact assignment, 3-7 two-step equations, integers. Once you click on it, basically this instructional video will be posted, but your assignment is to then go online and play a game. So you see the website down here below. You're going to solve 5 problems in the game of choice. So if we click on that website, here it is. I want you to scroll on down and you can choose any of the following 5 games. You can have a snowball fight, work with throwing ants across a yard, paper bird, wild taxi racing, or free kick soccer. You can choose any of those 5 games, and I want you to work through 5 problems. Now, while you're working through the problems, I want you to kind of keep score. Tell me how many out of 5 you got right. Your assignment to get credit is that you'll need to click submit and then tell me your score. And I even put that in here. Submit your score via text box for participation credit. And here's an example. My score was 4 out of 5. My score was 1 out of 5. Please be honest. Your actual score is not your grade. It's a way for me to help kind of gauge where we are with this skill. So have fun. Enjoy a game activity versus pencil and paper activity. Submit your score and reach out if you need any help.